You're listening to Opinions and Beer. I prefer mead. You sent me to hell, Jason.
I really just want to make everybody jealous.
I'm a person from Earth.
You're the smartest dumb guys I've ever met.
And that's just how the cookie crumbles, if you know what I mean. Hello, welcome to Opinions and Beer. We're your hosts, Adam and Eamon.
I'm Eamon, that's Adam.
And that's Adam.
And we're your hosts.
Today, we've got an episode for you. Today, we are reviewing beer, like we do every episode.
And today is a little bit different than the other episodes that we've done recently, in the fact that this episode is going to focus on these different topics than what we brought up in the past.
Huh?
I'm just saying it's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be the same. And I think the reason why is because, a lot of times it's never really the same.
It's never the same because you haven't joined our Facebook group. Tell us what you need to join our Facebook group and tell us what to talk about. At opinions and or what beers to drink, what you want our opinions on.
Okay.
And join us at Opinions and Beer at our Facebook group, at our Twitter, at our Instagram. We're literally everywhere. Google Opinions and Beer and find us. Damn it!
I mean, you've already found us in one instance.
I'm looking at you,
listening to this.
Ireland. I know you're listening.
Wow.
I tried to dedicate a whole episode to Ireland history and Ireland news. The whole news about how one of your hospitals were what did they get? They got a fine for not doing well with your too much pollution in one of your hospitals or something.
Yeah,
they got fined. Today's beer of the day.
Did you? So here's some weird, or not weird, but it's like some strange Irish history that me as a modern American, obviously the archetype that everyone looks towards whenever they're thinking of a nice, handsome American man. I immediately come to mind. I know that you listeners. Sorry, listeners at home. I know you're listening to this. Things are getting heated, but calm down. What people contemplate whenever they bring that up, it's not necessarily considered like Irish, right? But I'll tell you something that you probably don't know, that I didn't know, is that when you think of modern day Ireland, as like a nation or whatever, as a whole,
you usually think of New Zealand
as a union. Well, yeah, but like when you hear the term Ireland or whatever, minus like the weird leprechaun shit and like beer and whiskey and stuff like that.
Okay.
When you think of them as a country, what do you think of?
Freedom.
Well, that's Scotland, so that's immediately wrong. But you're thinking like the IRA, like the resistance fighters, etc.
Okay, yes.
Most people. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because my whole representation, mentally, like of Ireland in the past, was this nation that wanted to be free from Britain, but they couldn't be because of situational circumstances. Centuries old, right? What I did not know is that there are two different forms of Ireland. There's both a North Ireland and there's a South Ireland.
Yeah.
Kind of like there's a North Korea and a South Korea. One form of Ireland is free and its own nation.
Yeah, one's
and
not.
The other one is the one that's like kind of like British or whatever. I mean, it's not even considered weird for them to think of like being a part of Britain anymore because they've been that way for so long.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting to me to find that out. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that there were different forms, that one part of the nation was legitimately free and its own independent nation. So Irish people, be sure to speak out and let us know about, I guess, a little bit more about your history. It's very unique.
Today's beer of the day is Smash Smash Sour Mash IPA by the Blue Owl Brewing Company. This is an IPA / sour. Typically sours are beers brewed with wild yeast. Some brewery companies take the easy road though and use packaged wild yeast.
What do you mean by that?
Not sure if they,
Packaged?
Packaged,
Packaged wild yeast.
essentially.
Okay,
Well-
so they buy a product. They don't,
Right.
grow their own product
Right.
or whatever.
Because wild yeast makes sour beers.
Okay.
Because there's yeast have like different breeds. Let's say there's different breeds of yeast. There's particularly wild.
Man, I cheated. I just accidentally tasted a little bit of it, and it's gonna blow your mind. It's fucking.
Oh damn it!
I'm sorry.
This
Okay.
beer.
So let's talk. Yeah, let's talk more about.
This beer is 6.7% in alcohol by volume. It has an IBU of 40. Little low for IPAs, but I mean, I feel like it's right there where it has a nice. It's probably gonna have a nice little.
I've tasted a little bit of a sip off of the can lid, and I'm like, whoa.
Okay, so he's tasted a little bit of a sip off the can lid, and he was like, whoa. This is a limited 2019 3 of 3. It's brewed in Austin, Texas.
Oh, really? So it's
By the
it's
Blue Owl
Austin.
Brewing Company. I've seen some really cool glasses. I guess Blue Owl, they sell some really cool glasses. I'm looking at
It looks
pictures
like
now.
they have a stylized brand that they're going with that's kind of unique. So,
I'm gonna smell it.
so essentially, what they have is a lot of the artwork is kind of like an 80. It looks
Like
like
8-bit.
80 style, etc. And then the text. Yeah, the text is like 8-bit, almost like video game style. It looks like there's like a couple of different high score type stuff. So they were really aiming for this.
They're very gaming like.
So like what it says on the side is sour mash, single malt, and single hop. And it says player 1, Simcoe Washington hops. Player 2, Blacklands, Texas, pale moon malt.
So they combined. So they mashed together.
Is that what
silicone
is
hops
that the mash
and
means?
yes, silicone hops and Blacklands moon malt. So malt and hops. They combined a bunch of malt and hops and sour yeast to make a sour mash IPA.
You know what this sounds like? It sounds like a trash can beer. Like whenever you were in college and you were going and everyone's like, let's make trash can punch, and they essentially threw like Hawaiian punch and then all the leftover liquors. Like that's what it sounds like this is. But I've already had a slight taste of it, so I know that it's like
Okay, so he's had a slight taste. I'm gonna go ahead and try this beer.
Oh fuck, dude! This is I'm sorry. This is, in my opinion, from the little bit that I've tasted, this is a good IPA. Like I feel like the IPA notes are coming out a little bit more than the sour, and for some reason, I don't know why.
Well,
sour and IPA mixed together, but like
we may differ in that. Go ahead and try an actual sip.
okay.
Yeah, try an actual sip, and we'll see.
Fuck. Dude, I know. Isn't this weird? Like, I'm not only, like, totally on board for an IPA, but it's a sour IPA. I don't know why. This is
I do
really,
like the combination.
It's not some... I'm a stout guy. Like,
The
I don't know why this is hitting the notes that I want.
You know what it is. The only thing that makes this really unique for me is the sour part. However, the IPA part tastes a lot like Art Car by.
You know what? You're fucking exactly
St. Arnold's.
right. You're exactly right.
The IPA part, like the IPA taste and stuff, tastes a lot like Art Car by St. Arnold's, but the sour throws in a unique experience, a little slightly different. It's different enough to be its own beer away from the Art Car IPA.
Have you had another instance of like a sour IPA like this?
No, I have not.
Craft beer community, please let us know. Like, please reach out to us and let us know if you've tasted anything like this, because this is like the first iteration of this that I've had, and like I don't know why, but it feels like it meshes. This may not even be the best representation of a sour IPA, but I feel like there's like some really, really good potential in in this like this verse of IPAs.
It might need to be a little more hoppy. I you know what would be really good? It's funny because I'm drinking this beer. I'm just thinking about what would make this a 10. That's what I'm thinking of, honestly. Because it's a really good beer, but the instant thoughts that I have is what would make this a 10. And I think what would make this a 10 is if the IBUs were probably way higher. I found that I found that IPAs and really bitter beers in general tend to taste good either really low or really high.
Okay.
When you start dabbing in the middle,
because this is definitely middle ground.
Yeah, when you start dabbing in the middle, it's kind of like that middle ground. You get a mild medicine, well, like a tap, like chewing vitamins, like kind of like a chewing vitamin type taste.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I have a problem with IPAs. I'm sure a lot of people have a problem with IPAs. But like we've seen in the past with beers such as 120-minute IPA or Jabberwocky, beers that are like 120 IBUs.
Real quick, you said you feel like they're getting like a vitamin taste. Now, do you mean like a Tylenol taste?
No.
Or like something like that? You mean like
a vitamin, like eating a white, like any white vitamin, biting it.
White vitamin? Okay. The reason why I'm bringing this
aspirin.
Up, yes, aspirin. That's what I'm saying. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because the active ingredient is in Tylenol is aspirin, and that aspirin is a form of mold. As weird as that sounds. So you might be tasting literal fermentation.
Okay.
Like you might be tasting that, and that's fucking awesome. You just fucking picked it out of this beer. And I was trying to figure out, I was like, this beer's good, but it's middle of the road, and there's something that's just not putting it over the edge. And that's what it is. It's because of the fermentation that's taking place in it. So,
yeah. That actually means that this beer was probably canned a little early.
Yeah.
Because most breweries are supposed to, you really can beers after fermentation, like once it's settled. But a lot of like the thing with craft beer companies is that they don't have to follow like a weird strict guideline that a beer company has to do.
They can do whatever the fuck they want.
And so maybe they can a limited beer a little early, and the fermentation process might have not officially completed. You know, it doesn't stop.
But it's so hard. I totally agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, it's so hard to gauge like fermentation on sours, right?
Yeah, right.
Like because it's like their whole thing is that they're fucking like
wild, and the whole thing is that it's wild.
Yeah. I'm so glad we tried. This is such a unique. Like, I'm glad to have something on here that we can bring to people and be like, look, guys, like, this is, it's so different, you know? Like, if you go to the store, the supermarket.
I prefer this over, I compared it to Art Car earlier, and I think I prefer this over Art Car.
Yeah.
I will say that. I just feel like the IPA elements are very familiar. So I feel like the biggest risk they took was making this a sour as well as an IPA. They mashed the sourness It's the yeast. So basically, they took a risk on the yeast, but they didn't take much risk on the other aspects of the beer. And so...
You're so right. If they would have been like, look, we want to make this a sour IPA, and then we want to get, like, a lot of these beers where they have success is, and I don't know if you at home, if you're listening, if you're a crafter yourself, we do have a lot of people that listen that craft their own beers, brews, etc. One of the things that these people, where a lot of companies are successful and breweries are successful, are they take these type of beers, and they go out there and they know that they want to make a certain type of beer, and they're like, I want to make a Berliner Weiss, or I want to make a stout, I want to make a Russian Imperial Stout, I want to make a porter. They'll pick a type, and then they'll pick some of the flavors they want to add it, and they'll add like a theme to it, right? Yeah. And because of like the what puts it over the edge usually is the added flavors and the theme that they go with, and whether it's an accurate representation of what they want to portray in this unique beer that they're doing. I mean, I feel like, honestly, Smash Mash Sour Mash IPA by Blue Owl Brewing did a good job in creating a unique experience. Like, I've never tasted a sour IPA before. It goes together very well. What's not putting this over the edge is the fact that it's not like a berry styled sour IPA with defined taste and notes that I can identify here.
Man, rating this is the, you know what? Let's save the rating for later. I'm gonna sip on. We have one more. We're gonna trade around and like sip on it for a little bit. I want to talk a little bit quickly. You know, this has a very video game art style on it. Speaking of video games, Mortal Kombat. We talk a lot about Mortal Kombat.
That's true. Look, real quick though.
What is Cruising USA?
This from? Yeah, it's either like it's like Cruising USA or Road Rash.
Yeah.
What is that? Something Derby. There's like an old game. If we talk to Ed Ray,
I know, right?
Speed on,
Road on, Speed.
Yes.
Whatever
yes,
the fucking
yes,
motorcycle one.
That's Speed on. I want to say, or Speed. I don't know. It's a derby car that was fucking 8-bit that you could only play in the arcades,
or on Shenmue 2.
Pole something is it was called, like Pole Racer. Or
okay.
There was two that came out at the same time, and it was Ridge Racer and Pole Position. Pole Position, I believe, is the name of it, and this is what pole positions looked like.
Around the same time as 8-bit and stuff like that, there was arcade games, and arcade games were where they were pushing the future, and fucking Mortal Kombat was one of the biggest games of ever.
Yep. And the reason why is because they were one of the few companies, and the reason why they spread so much into movies and stuff like that is because the games that they were creating, they used a type of technology that no one had used before. They used film. They used it's referred to nowadays as motion capture.
Yes.
It was one of the first iterations of that. They took pictures and photographs of humans doing moves and etc., and it was almost like stop motion animation. If you can understand like how difficult that process is, like that's what they did, except they made it into a playable game. And that's why they were so successful at that point in time. Yeah, it was true innovation, like what had never been seen before. And I mean, like when I'm talking about it, I get fond feelings because I think of like a picture of like the weird guy that played Kano. You know, the half balding guy that like slowly walks across the stream barefoot, like this, like with his, shoulders swaying a little bit to the left and right, ready to uppercut somebody, right?
Yeah. What's crazy, you say that. Have you ever heard when the guy that made, I think he made Quake, but the guy that made Quake was saying that the biggest problem with innovation right now is that they really can't afford it. Is that people that games need to be released almost too instantly now. I think he basically was saying that we're in a society that we need things a little bit more faster than what innovation takes.
And that's the reason why is because people are very, I don't know, flaky and in the moment. And people have always been like that. But the difference between then and now is like people may have asked for something back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't very realistic, but that, some random person might be able to think of an innovative idea and immediately produce what the people were wanting. Whereas technology has increased so much, and now people, whenever they get this this thought in their mind, like when I think of like a new cool video game in my mind that I would like to see, or as an example, let's use like say God of War. Like God of War just did like kind of like a reboot or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it was really good. It was really well done, and it was portrayed well and received well, right? So like, what if I immediately wanted to? I was like, that was cool. I just beat that game. Now I want to play a God of War 2. I'd like to extend this storyline. I would personally like to see Kratos fly into the air with his son, and then they'll both be like, son, dad, yes, we're going to heaven. And then fly away, and then, maybe get in some weird, cool hijinks along the way.
Yeah.
I had this visual representation in my mind of what I want to see. And I have an expectation based on what they've done in the past, etc., of what I expect the future to be like. Because the future always has to be better. The future...
It's supposed to be.
Exactly. Because that's the expectations that we build on this. Whereas... I feel like the production companies now, especially as like an independent developer, whether it be music, whether it be art, whether it be video games, whether it be videos or movies, I feel like a lot of modern day expectations are very fucking unrealistic. Don't get me wrong. I understand that we need to be constantly making progress.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like one of the things that we had talked about in the past, possibly on an earlier episode, is I feel like maybe we as a society have been so, just developed by the internet that we have these unrealistic technological expectations where we believe that at this point in time we should already have this and we should already have that, and people agree with us. And the people that are going to go out and make these new games or these new movies, this new music, etc., they have the same idyllic representation of what we think about. Like they understand what we want portrayed,
yeah,
and they set out to do that, but they don't have the production quality and or value to be able to do this, and I think that people don't give each other enough slack on that instance. Like, look, man, so and so just just did a reboot of their show that we haven't seen in 15 to 20 years. Yeah, they did one episode. It was amazing. Like, but you want to binge it, you know?
Yeah.
You want to binge that, and it's not possible with, like, what else we have, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stipulations that stop that as well. And I think we need to develop and recognize that as a community and progress forward together. That way that we can kind of, I don't know, view it in a different light.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like, I don't know, man. The beer's good, though.
Speaking about making things better in the future, man, you can put me with the cynics of the upcoming Mortal Kombat film. At first, I was...
Whoa. There's a new Mortal Kombat
At
film
first, I was-
coming out?
Yes, and it's being produced by, James Wan, I believe.
James Wan.
Saw director, the first Saw director, and he made, like, Fast and Furious 7 or some shit like that. But anyways,
I mean, that's the one that I've heard of, so... Fast and Furious 6 director.
Well, he's producing it.
Okay,
The director,
production is very different.
Director is a first-time director, but James Wan's overseeing it, and actually he's getting a lot of credit for the film pre its release. So, like, every time people say Mortal Kombat, they're saying James Wan, but really the director that's supposed to be getting credit for directing is a first-time director.
And so this isn't a miniseries. It's not
a film.
It's not like where they brought our boy MJW back for like the Mortal Kombat Legacy stuff.
You haven't seen nothing about this?
No, I haven't seen any.
Dude.
And I play Mortal Kombat like every other day. They haven't been advertising
about
this.
Game.
No, that's what I'm saying. What I can tell you is that I do know Mortal Kombat 11, the one that was just recently released, that they've been coinciding their DLC with movie characters.
Yeah.
Including Spawn, Terminator,
yeah,
the Joker,
yeah.
And they're releasing all of these downloadable content characters in relation to their movies coming up. So what I can tell you is that I know the fucking release date of the next Spawn movie that's coming out.
Spawn movie?
Yes.
What?
It's going to be not this year, but in 2020. It's going to be like, I want to say March or something. Because you want to know why I know that? Because it's the last character they're releasing for the DLC. And they're releasing it on a very specific date away from now.
Oh, wow.
And the Terminator character that they're releasing is going to be coincidentally, with the release of the new Terminator movie.
Oh.
The new Joker character that they're releasing as DLC, they're releasing as, who would have guessed it, with the Joker movie. Guy, I know that you may not know this, but we are so fucking advanced in our journalism that we knew about Spawn and all this shit so fucking far ahead of everyone else, and no one believed us. We've been saying, we interviewed Michael Jai White. We tried to get Todd McFarlane on, but he because of like some secret thing, he didn't want to agree to it. And now we know, like, we knew several months ago the reasons why all of this was taking place. Oh, it's just mind-blowing to see it all. You know, it's like, you don't want to be conceited. Like, we don't want to be conceited,
right.
But goddamn, we tried to let everybody know this, but
we tried our best. Damn it!
It's just so it's so cool to see whenever like you hypothesize about a situation and then it comes into fruition.
Yeah. But so you haven't seen. So I'll be honest with you. Adding to the cynics, because the Mortal Kombat movie is not looking good.
Oh shit! Are you're saying the new Mortal Kombat movie that they're developing?
It looks like something you should put on the CW channel. It's looking like something you should put. Like everyone they've casted so far are in their fucking our age, so it's like a bunch of like. It looks like what they're trying to do is make a prequel movie where like there are like a bunch of.
Is it for people that like more? It's like it's for the fans or something?
It's like it looks like.
It's like they literally let the fans
like
be in the film.
Like, did you like the Power Rangers movie? Because it looks like
I haven't seen it.
I
heard it was good though.
Oh,
I heard it was really. Oh, you're saying you don't?
Well, whoever liked the Power Ranger movie might.
We're stepping. Guys,
100% love this.
I did not realize that this was going to be the episode that we just we did the 9/11 episode. We did the other episode. This is going to be the episode where we step on people's toes.
Oh, yeah.
If you like the Power Rangers movie, sorry guys, it was kind of
Well, it was because it was very. I mean, you have to admit the fucking Power Rangers movie was very tweeny. Even the 90s Power Ranger movies, where it's high school the fucking kids are in high school or whatever, and it was
the
90s.
Kids were in high school. Yes.
I guess every time they're in high school, but the 90s Power Rangers movie, even that was not as tweeny in CW as the new Power Rangers movie. And when I say CW, I mean like very...
I mean, look, I'll tell you this. I know that there was definitely the high school aspect, and I feel like that was probably influenced by like Buffy.
No, yeah.
You know?
No,
but
I'm not mad about that.
I also know that like there were characters like Skull and Bones in the Power Rangers movie that, you know, like they were
fun.
Thieves.
Yeah.
Like they were thieves and shit, like shitty like punks that were like,
it's just
like they would stab you in the street. Like
I can't explain the. I feel like maybe it's the personalities or maybe it's just the aura. They put off.
Yes.
There were. It's not like high school people that are Power Rangers. It's like Twilight high school people that are Power Rangers.
Okay, you're saying they just got to high school and
what?
They're in love.
Are
you telling me that the Power Rangers movie was a love story?
No, I'm saying that feel. It's that feeling. It's like that weird. It's like this weird. Like it's like a bunch of high schoolers, but they're pandering to middle schoolers.
Oh, I get entirely what you're saying right now. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah.
Where the original Power Rangers, I felt like they didn't pander.
No,
they were just doing their own. They were doing their own thing,
and
mainly because they were a ripoff of a Japanese show, and a lot of their scenes
Japanese movie. Movies. It was like a theme.
Yeah, a lot
thematic
of their themes.
Thing. We've touched on this in the past with the Godzilla / Kaiju things.
Yeah.
And the Rocket Man thing. You remember whenever they because we talked about in the Godzilla episode, what they did was they took a random kid's theory or whatever, and they introduced it into the Godzilla franchise. And the reason why I bring this up is because he was just a man in a spaceman outfit that fought. He was able to either get into a robot or he grew to a certain size where he individually fought Godzilla and these kaijus. And the reason why this is such a big deal and why I'm bringing it up is because he was the first iteration of a fucking Power Ranger. And Power Rangers were spawned off of this idea. And it was just some Japanese kid's idea of some guy.
Who's the what's the lightning dude's name in Mortal Kombat?
The lightning dude in Mortal Kombat is Raiden.
Okay, Raiden.
Raiden, whatever you want to say. Most people say Raiden.
So when I see these characters in the games, I'm looking at fucking like.
Because Raiden is
40-year-old
god of thunder / Earth Realm protector.
Do they look pretty much like 40-year-old men?
Raiden?
Or like older men?
Yeah, Raiden is definitely at very minimum late 30s.
See,
And the only reason why he would not look that old is because he's a god.
See, and that's the thing. All the characters they're casting look like they're 23 years old, 25. Raiden.
Now look,
I looked at. I seen Raiden's casting.
Now we cannot
Shang
deny.
Tsung casting, 25 years fucking old is what he looks like.
Well, okay, that's not necessarily a wrong thing though.
Not yet.
And the reason why I'm saying is because all of these actors and their physical representations. I hate to say this. I'm when you're listening to this, I'll probably be old as fuck. I'll probably be old as fuck. But right now, when you're listening to this, I'm like 31 odd years. Okay.
Okay.
So like I have understood and come to the realization that I might be a little past my prime. I remember when I was like around 25 to 27, it was a lot easier to do certain things. I was more apt at certain things. I feel like I could have taken my life in any direction at that point in time.
They could have put a Jet Li in that role.
And I feel like the physical representation of that is probably not wrong, played out by an actor. I don't think that the original actors that we had for Mortal Kombat were much more than that age group.
The original actors?
Yeah.
They had older fucking people. They're dead now.
They're dead now, but that's because they
Because
lived
they were
horrible
old.
lives.
They were older when they did those movies in the 90s.
We were like 5, dude.
They were older people. They had an old dude
You
playing...
were definitely...
They had an older dude
like
playing
8.
Raiden.
You were like 5.
They had an older dude playing Raiden.
I agree there, but that's because Raiden was a god.
Yeah, he's played by a fucking 20-year-old dude. And he could be like fucking... Like, you literally could put him as like Jet Li or Jackie Chan. I know Jackie Chan's fucking tied with Marvel now.
All right, here's the problem.
But anybody...
Here's the problem. Is I'm looking at this objectively without having seen any of the pictures of these people.
It looks like CW.
Okay, so like if I look at them and they look super young, then I'll be able to go on your side of agreement. But for right now,
And Jax
I
is
am
super
where I
fucking
am.
thin.
Where it's just like, what do you mean?
Like Jax is like fucking not Jax.
I mean, there's one iteration of Jax. It's Michael Jai White. They have to at least be that big.
No, dude, fucking. That's another thing that made me mad. They fucking casted some like tiny ass dude that looks like. That's the thing. They casted all these fucking people that don't look like they should belong in a Mortal Kombat movie.
So I remember you telling me whenever they cast the character for Sub-Zero. And
Yeah, Sub-Zero, I was kind of like... it's
yeah,
okay.
like when you told me Sub-Zero and I saw who Sub-Zero was, I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, this is actually kind of a
Sub-Zero's
good
not my
fit.
problem.
Like,
It's the other casting.
but I didn't see the rest
They,
of them.
yeah,
So.
no, not Sub-Zero. They've been releasing casting for other people.
Whenever they did Mortal Kombat Legacy, they had Michael Jai White, which was a really awesome fit, and then some of the other characters didn't fit. So it's like, I feel like every time they try and do the storyline, they get like 2 or 3 characters absolutely right, and then get really bad representations of all the other
and the
characters.
fucking writer.
Like the 90s Sonya Blade that they got in the movie, I feel like I don't think that I can like love another like Sonya Blade representation like they had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, or Liu Kang. Like, fuck, it's hard for me to think of a different Liu Kang and or Shang Tsung besides the 90s movie representation of that, right?
Look at Jax.
Okay. Jax, you're right, he's super skinny. He's like super skinny. I'm assuming that that's Sub-Zero, right?
Shang Tsung.
That's Shang's. Oh no.
That's what I'm telling you.
This guy looks too nice to be Shang Tsung. You know what? But look, don't let me discredit him just yet, because he does look like the video game character, the young model
They must have
of
updated.
Shang Tsung. He looks like the young model.
So I am seeing a few new faces. So maybe they.
How are you good?
Maybe the
Yuki
cast.
Sanada Scorpion. It kind of doesn't matter what Scorpion looks like.
Yeah.
He does look like the.
Maybe the cast has been updated since I've last seen it.
Dude, they're gonna take these guys' masks off. You know why I can tell? Because they look like the unmasked versions of these characters, of Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Raiden, Tadanobu,
Kano looks too nice. I mean, I like the Kano. What's
I'm used to Christopher. Wasn't his name Christopher Lee? Wasn't Christopher Lee Raiden in the 90s movie?
Yes.
I mean, I'm kind of used to that iteration of him. That's a little weird to me, but I guess I can see where people are coming from. Josh Lawson as Kano. Oh, fuck, man. I was Liu Kang? Dude, this guy is Liu Kang? Oh my god. Okay, so I was like super excited about it before. Now looking at this cast, I do kind of hope like that they use a lot of makeup or something.
I'm really mad at Jax.
That's hard.
I really don't like that. I really don't like Jax.
No.
And I really don't like
fucking. Okay, so people might be mad about me saying this. But it looks like a millennial cast.
That's what I'm telling you, fucking CW channel. The CW channel.
It looks like a millennial cast in Mortal Kombat character.
It's like it's on CW.
It's like people that don't really fit, but they're throwing them in there. God, you know what I'm saying?
Who's this fucking photo?
Like, who was the guy that's playing Raiden? Like, Raiden has never looked like that. Like, come on, guys.
Come on. Look, this is fucking... Is this the guy that... Oh, no. Is that James Wan or is that... I guess that's James Wan. My bad. God.
So, I don't know. I mean, a couple of the characters look perfect. Like I said, the guy that
Raiden...
The guy that they have playing Shang Tsung, he looks like an exact representation of a young Shang Tsung character model.
Right now, I really don't like Jax. Because he's really skinny. And he is not that skinny in the games.
No, he's buff. He's buff as AF.
And then Kano slightly looks like the Kano from the internet series. And so he's passable, so fucking whatever.
Yeah, but like he doesn't look like any video game character of Kano.
Yeah, no.
He doesn't look like a single iteration of a video game character Kano.
Like, it looks like they changed who Raiden was. Because Raiden was originally... the original cast member was a younger person. So it looks like they did cast an older person for Raiden. So I'm slightly better about it. But that's about it. And then the writer, though, apparently the writer, like his favorite fucking character is the... Who's the green girl? What's the girl that wears green?
Jade?
I guess Jade is his favorite character, and so he wanted to write the fucking script to be about Jade or something, or have Jade be...
That doesn't make sense. That doesn't even make sense
but
with the...
That's what the writer's favorite character is, that character.
Okay, so...
Jade and Katana, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, well, Katana is a character worth writing. Jade is literally, they decided that they needed more female characters, so they made a green color Katana. I'm not even joking. Jade was not in Mortal Kombat 2. Jade was released in Mortal Kombat 3. 3. Not 1. Not 2. 3. Okay, there's a lot of characters that happened in between then. Don't get me wrong. Jade is... Like, you cannot deny that she is one of the most iconic and fun characters of Mortal Kombat. Like, I totally agree with the fact that Jade, who has never... Look... Jade, besides the animated TV series, because if you guys didn't know this, back in the 90s, they had a Mortal Kombat children's animated TV series.
No.
Yes, they did. It was great. It was great. That was the only... They used that TV series to explain characters like Nightwolf. It came out around the time Mortal Kombat 3.
Okay.
So they used that to tell the story of a further universe, including Jade's universe and Nightwolf's universe, Cyrax, Sector, etc. Because Mortal Kombat had a dedicated story in 1 and 2. And then when they progressed to 3, Ed Boon and John Tobias, it's like they reached out to a third-party writer.
Okay.
And just got some really wild shit at the time. Like, so all the scorpions of the, or not scorpions, but the ninjas of the Shirai Ryu and the Lin Kuei, which was Sub-Zero's like clan or whatever. So Scorpion of Sub-Zero's clan, out of nowhere. Well, we know where it was. It was mid-90s, so that's why they did that. They did the Cyber Initiative, where the characters, they developed them from human characters into robots because it was fun to have cyborgs with different colors that they could claim were still ninjas and a part of this clan for the storyline. And they introduced also Jade, which was just green katana. She has no fucking story. She has and always has been like Katana's like personal assistant. That's Jade's story. I don't know why they're trying to fucking make a fucking whole movie about it. It makes no sense.
That's what the writer said his favorite character was, and that he wanted to write. He said he wanted to write it off of that character.
So I want you, listeners and community, to understand why this guy is a piece of shit. I know it's weird, but like, guys, if you don't know this, so there was a type of arcade person that arrived around the mid-90s when Mortal Kombat 3 came out that would use the character Jade in fights. And Jade was essentially like using Meta Knight in Super Smash Bros.
Oh, yeah?
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because Jade, Mortal Kombat 3, the big difference between 2 and 3 that they introduced was the ability to run/sprint. There was a dedicated button at the arcades that you pressed that was a run button. And so instead of like walking up to somebody, dodging their attack, or blocking, and then doing a combo, you could do a special move at them or something to kind of like, you can range do a projectile or something to get them to block or like get knocked off of their shit. And then you could sprint in immediately, and then do a 10-hit combo. Sub-Zero had a 9-hit combo. Scorpion had about like an 8-hit combo. Liu Kang had like a 10-hit combo. Shang Tsung had like a 10-hit combo. Ermac had about like a 7-hit combo. Jade's special ability was to go invincible for about 6 seconds. So what those people would do was they would go invincible for about 6 seconds and then sprint in to the opponent and then start their combo. Guess what? Jade also was the only character to have a 15-hit combo.
No!
And it was super easy to pull off. So if you knew that combo, you could go invincible, sprint into an opponent's defense, and immediately start that 15-hit combo on them.
And that's why that's his favorite character.
That's exactly why that's his favorite character. Exactly. That's why when you just told me that, I was like, what? You fucking piece of... This is one of those assholes that sunk all of your quarters into fighting him at an unbeatable game. Like...
You fucker, and you're writing the Mortal Kombat movie.
Exactly.
Jackass.
But at the same time, I can't deny that he's not a real Mortal Kombat fan.
Right.
Because he was around then. If you like Jade, there's only one reason why you like Jade. And it's because of that. You know? So he has some credibility in the Mortal Kombat world. So I do say that this is probably going to be like, what, a 7 film? Maybe a 7. You know, like, 7 out of 10 or whatever. You know, like I feel like he's gonna do good, but it's not gonna be what any of us envision because it's a totally different world from an asshole.
But that is the problem, huh? Isn't the problem in most movies is that it's not what we envision?
Yeah.
It's like we envision something great, and they always give us something almost great.
I mean, but it has at the same time it has potential though, because I know that like if he's that type of person, then he was alive in the 90s. You know, he has that type of aspect, and I think that like personally, someone that has lived through the 90s, I would love to see a little bit of like weird 90s stank in modern movies because, you know, like you go, that's just relatability, I guess. And I feel like I'm probably going to get that, but I don't think that the modern person just watching this movie is going to be like enthralled by it. So that's my take on it. What do you say, man?
That's just... I'm such a cynic. But that's just our opinion. And that's fine. Because all we got here are opinions and beer.